healing isn't about killing off the rebel or silencing your basket case. It's about saying, hey, baby, we did what we had to do to fucking survive. But now I gotcha. When we start doing that, when we start seeing those inner misfits and you actually start looking at them with compassion and giving them love, something sacred begins to fucking happen. You reclaim your power. You turn shame into, you alchemize pain into purpose. That is transmuting that bullshit into gold. Cheers to us, Gen X. We grew up on detention, rebellion, and silence. But what if the Breakfast Club never existed? What if the mirror for our unhealed teenager wounds, the mask we wore, the loneliness we swallowed, and the truth we hid behind the sarcasm and irony? In this episode, we are going to break that all down and learn how to alchemize all those Gen X survival stories into pure gold, purpose, and self love. And baby boots, and we are wrapping up this season. This is the last episode of our first season of Spill the Yoni Tea. And no, there's no other better way than to break it down for us Gen X than with our favorite cult classics. Don't you forget about me. Don't. Okay, yeah, okay. I'll give it up, guys. I can't sing. All right. Well, don't forget about me. Hey, lovelies, and welcome back to Spill the Yoni Tea. I am your host, your unfucking apologetic host, Angelina, the true spiller, the heart healer, coach for all my Gen X goddesses and gods, soulful misfits who grew up strong, but sometimes still feels that ache inside. And today we're diving deep into one of the most ironic Gen X films of all times. Yeah, y'all know The Breakfast Club. Season 1 is wrapping up, but this isn't goodbye, baby boos. It's a graduation from this season, from pain to power, from shame to self love, survival to soul embodiment. Let's sit in that circle one last time and celebrate how far we've come because detention over baby and you've earned that detention's over baby and you've earned that freedom. But we're not just talking about the movie. We're talking about why we cracked something wide open in us, why we still remember that library, that detention room, and that feeling, that final scene. Yes, because baby boo, that movie wasn't just about 5 fucking teens. It was about us, the misunderstood generation, the latchkey kids who raised ourselves on sarcasm, mixtapes, and trauma. And who really, most of us grew up in very toxic, abusive homes. Let's face it. And we laugh it off as adults now, but we would be damned if we did that same shit to our children. We're finally ready to alchemize that bullshit that we've all been dealt and turn it into gold. Why this movie hit home for so many. And even if you aren't Gen X, that movie hit home for so many of us. You remember that feeling watching it, how every character felt like a piece of you, the brain, the athlete, the princess, the criminal, the basket case. Every single one of them wore armor. Every one of them hid behind a mask. And if you look at your own story, you see it all, baby boo. Maybe you were the brain trying to be perfect because you thought love had to be earned. Or maybe you were the athlete pushing, proving, performing just to feel worthy. Maybe you were the princess smiling through the pain, pretending to have it all together. Yo, let's give it up for my girl Molly Ringwald. Maybe you were the criminal rebelling because you were tired of being unseen, broken, and abused. Or the basket case, feeling everything but told you were too much and not getting the love and the gratitude you needed just to feel comfortable in being you. We all had one of those characters. Sometimes we had all fucking five living inside of us. That's why it hits so home so deep for us, because deep down, we knew the fucking truth. No matter how different we looked on the outside, we were all carrying that same ache. The aches of not being understood, the aches of who we really are and who we're pretending to be just to survive. And back then, no one gave us language for it. No one said, that's trauma, baby. They said, grow the fuck up. And they said, get over it. They said, stop being so dramatic. So we did what we were taught. We fucking buried it. We lived in survival mode. As Gen X's, yes, we lived in survival mode. We normalized our parents abusing us. For fuck's sake, some of us, we joke about the trauma and we play it off like it was fucking normal, but none of us would do that to our own children. And it's not that our parents were bad people, but they definitely didn't have the tools. We are literally the generation breaking generational cycles. And that's some deep shit, y'all. And that's all five of us, every single one of us listening to this can relate to one of those characters. We turned our trauma and pain into hustle, humor, people pleasing, and perfectionism. But the wounds that we carried, baby boo, never fucking disappeared. It just dressed better. That's why we were so like the 90s was all about the supermodel and about labels. That's why the Breakfast Club still hits us to the fucking gut when you watch it, because somewhere inside each and every single one of us is still that teenager sitting in emotional detention, desperate to finally be seen for who we really are. And even as adults, we never had the language or the tools and the therapy to really help us understand and break that down. So I'm breaking it down for y'all. Let's talk about the fucking detention room. That's the healing space, baby boo. Nobody could leave until they faced the truth. Do you remember that? They were five complete different strangers that would have never have ever been in the same circle or would have communicated. And that healing is the same way. You can't manifest your way around pain. You can't bypass what's begging you to be felt. Those emotions are real, boo. Yeah, you can chalk it up, laugh it off, but deep down inside, when you close that door, baby, that you're feeling that. You gotta sit in that spiritual Saturday detention and listen to the parts of yourself you locked away. In that room, those five archetypes stopped performing. They stopped pretending. They got raw, vulnerable, and they got fucking messy. And that's when transformation happens. That's shadow work, baby boo. That's embodiment. That's what I teach in my one-on-one sessions. How to hold space for those characters inside of you until they finally start working together instead of against each other. Like, come on. Do you remember how epic that was when they were all running through the hallways trying to avoid the principal and they worked together, each one of them bringing a unique aspect of themselves, and they created magic, and that created a magical movie for all generations, because healing isn't about killing off the rebel or silencing your basket case. It's about saying, hey baby, we did what we had to do to fucking survive, but now I gotcha. You can rest. And when we start doing that, when we start seeing those inner misfits and you actually start looking at them with compassion and giving them love, something sacred begins to fucking happen. You reclaim your power. You turn shame into wisdom. You alchemize pain into purpose. That is transmuting that bullshit into gold, baby boo. Let's Talk about alchemizing the bullshit into gold. So, how do we take all that bullshit, that pain, that heartbreak, the mother wound, that father wound, that not being enough, and turn it into gold? Because this whole season, we've been talking about facing those shadow aspects of ourselves, pulling back the masks. And now we are going to really break it down. So, first is you're gonna fucking acknowledge your shit. Stop gaslighting yourself. You're not broken. You were fucking conditioned. Your nervous system learned to protect you the way it knew how. Step two, you are going to feel all those emotions without judgment. You're gonna feel all that shame that you've been festering inside, all that regret, all that shit that you've been avoiding. You're gonna feel it, boo. You can't heal what you don't feel. And you're gonna cry. You're gonna allow yourself to cry. You're gonna allow yourself to rage it out, whether it's from one of your favorite grunge songs, death metal, whatever it is that allows your body to move that anger out. You're going to journal, dance, scream in your car. Feeling is how the alchemy begins, baby boo. And then step three, we can finally fucking rewrite the story. Ask yourself, what was the pain trying to teach me? Maybe abandonment taught you how to set your boundaries. Maybe rejection taught you how to find your self worth. Maybe loss taught you how to become present in the fucking moment. Because let's face it, when you're in survival mode, you're always two steps ahead trying to think about what next week is bringing, what next month is going to bring, what the future is going, that you forget how to be present, how to be still in the moment and enjoy just breathing, just sitting here, just enjoy, because you know what, you don't know if next week is going to come, and so much can change in one day. This is where you start embodying and healing your energy. You stop chasing love and you start becoming it. You start learning to love you the way they couldn't. You stop waiting for permission and start giving it to yourself. You stop hiding and you start glowing. Not because life's perfect, but because you finally know your fucking worth. That's what I call, baby boo, turning your bullshit and alchemizing it into gold. That's why coaching is so sacred. And that is what my coaching is all about. It's about sacred work. It is about alchemizing through your heart consciousness, through the womb, through your voice, through your body. It is about using that feminine energy of flow and working with your own body's innate wisdom. I do not spiritual bypass here by all means, y'all. We transmute that power. We turn that fucking pain into power. The golden takeaway. So here's the truth, baby boo. Every one of us is still in that library, still sitting across from the pieces of ourselves where we judged or we just want to fucking ignore. But now we are older and wiser and way more fucking magical. And we have real life experiences helping us. The question is, are you ready to stop replaying the same detention scene and start rewriting your own ending? Because that's the beauty of healing, baby boo. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need a permission slip to walk out. You just need courage to face yourself and to face those masks and those layers that you constantly want to bury. It's about really facing all your demons, looking them straight in the eye. And when you do, honey, the gold that pours out of you will blow your fucking mind. That is when you become magnetic. Your relationships will begin to shift. Your energy changes and you become the alchemist of your own life. the woman or the man who took their pain, their stories, their inner youth, teenager, inner child wounds, and turn them into fucking power. So if this episode spoke to your soul, please share it with others. And if you're ready to dive deeper, to sit in your own sacred detention room with me and start alchemizing your journey, please check the link in my bio for one-on-one coaching calls or one of my programs that you can download. It's time to stop surviving your story and start rewriting it. Don't forget about me, won't you? And that is like the theme song when with the Breakfast Club. Don't forget about me. It's because they're so distinctly different personalities from different aspects of your life. And it's the same thing when you look at it as yourself. They are aspects of yourself that most of us, let's face it, we do want to forget. We want to pretend that those things didn't happen, pretend that we never did some of those ugly things. But when we deny that we did some things that we're not so proud of, we're also denying how much we have grown and evolved from that. And we also deny all the good things that we achieved too in that same time phrase. Because you know what, baby, but the honest God truth is we were learning and evolving. And we really didn't have any structure. We didn't have any of the tools or the knowledge that we have now or the awareness. So we went into a lot of situations a little messy, a little dirty in our thoughts and our emotions. And then we came out completely different people. And that is the beauty of learning to love all aspects of yourself. So if you're not the brain, the princess, the criminal, the basket case, or the athlete, you are the whole damn story. And baby, that is pure gold. Because I think we all have little nuances of that in our personalities. So until next season, I want to tell you guys I love you and thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate your support. Keep shining, keep healing, and keep turning that bullshit into gold. Baby boom. And I will see you in season 2 in a few months. And I just really want to let you know I thank you all and I appreciate and love all of you guys as in your support for helping me grow this podcast. And I'd love to hear, please jot down below what you like to hear in the new in season 2 and upcoming episodes. I'd love to hear your feedback. Sending you lots of love. Ciao.